Hey, what's up? Rose Lam Johnson here, Nimble Roots Coaching, and I have a cute little story for you that I am. This is first tellings of it. It's about a bike shop owner named Milo who discovered the amazingness of a bicycle and decided to commit their life to sharing that with the world. And so Milo identified a small town that had never heard of bicycles before and decided to bring 100 very simple bicycles to that town. And Milo set up a shop and put out a sign that said, "Hey everybody, come ride these bikes. Come buy a bike," which, Milo thought would be an obvious win, and Milo thought they'd be sold out in a moment. However, the townspeople had never heard of a bicycle before, nor did they know how to ride one. And so they mostly just ignored it and kept on with their day. So Milo got curious and started to meet people in the town and ask them questions. Because from Milo's point of view, a bicycle is such a great resource. It can help you reduce your fossil fuel consumption. It can help you carry things into congested areas where you don't want to deal with parking. And it's really fun. But instead of showing up to the conversations with the townspeople with that as the proclamation, perhaps even laden with and you should feel really guilty that you're consuming all that fossil fuel, and gosh, you're so there must be something wrong with you. You can come up with all the things they might have said, like it's affecting your karma, or if you're frustrated by traffic, it's probably affecting your marriage. Instead of Milo saying all the things, which of course Milo didn't bother focusing on, but instead of saying those things, Milo listened and asked the townspeople what kind of challenges they were facing in relation to transportation. And over time, Milo started to realize, oh my gosh, these folks don't know how to ride a bike. Of course. And so Milo started hosting free Saturday morning learn to ride lessons where Milo invited people that they had met along the way. And so also Milo put out a sign that said, "Hey, come to these free bike lessons. There's donuts." And the first people that came were the ones that Milo had met and had a relationship with. But over time, word spread and more people started responding to the sign outside the bike shop and started to check it out. And because Milo knew that a little bit about what it's like to learn how to ride a bike, and that it's scary, and that there's a few skills you need to know at the beginning, and then you can get more complex as you go, Milo actually invested in a simpler bike, even more simple than the basic bike that Milo originally brought. And so Milo got bikes that didn't have any gears and actually didn't even have any pedals. And so the townspeople could scoot on the bikes to learn balance. And so folks came out and they scooted and they realized, oh my gosh, wow, this is actually fun. I can do this. I didn't know I could do this. And they were really excited and really pleased with their experience on those Saturday mornings. They also really liked the donuts. Who doesn't like donuts? So after a while, Milo started offering a discount to the folks that came to the workshop if they wanted to purchase a scoot bike. Hey, you're here, you just learned how to ride this. If you want to take this home, you can, and here's a reasonable investment. And so people started to understand what was being offered and the magic of it. And so sometimes they purchased them. And it was great. And people started scooting around town, and other people kind of got curious about it. And so more people were coming to the workshop. The word of mouth was spreading, and people were excited by it. So Milo was watching the townspeople and realized that if folks had gears and the ability to pedal, it would get even easier. And their lives, their problems, all of these pieces would just be kind of addressed in this really beautiful way. And they would get to have more fun and more energy and all the good things that come with having a bike that really fits you well. So Milo started to train the folks that were kind of excelling at the scoot bikes and helped them get into bikes that had gears. And so now when Milo put out the sign to say, hey, I've got a basic bike, people understood what it meant and they were clear on why they wanted to buy it. Now, believe it or not, the basic bike manufacturer stopped production for some weird reason, and so Milo was running out of bikes. And so when that moment came, the townspeople got together and they decided to kind of distribute those basic bikes around town so that people who wanted them could have them. And Milo realized that there were some people that had really unique experiences with their bikes. Some of them carried a lot of things. Some of them just actually didn't need gears. They just were on flat surfaces for most of their riding. And others, even the basic bike was actually too difficult for them, so they kind of needed an engine. So Milo started creating bicycles that were specific and customized to folks' needs. And so that made for some of the basic bikes to kind of go throughout the community. And then the folks that were like really keen on cycling and a specific type of cycling got the bikes that they wanted. So that was great. And some time passed and people were really into bikes, and Milo was overjoyed with all the ways they got to support the community. And then Milo started to realize that people were not necessarily maintaining their bikes. There wasn't like a bicycle repair shop, and people were just kind of ignoring them. And Milo realized there were two directions that Milo could go. One was to start a repair shop where that provided repair services. The other was to start a bike sharing program that actually, part of the business model of the bike sharing program, had a resource, a fund that had a full-time bike maintenance person. And so people could, you've seen them probably around town, where you scan this QR code and then you can take a bike from point A to point B and then you can put it back. You don't ever have to deal with the maintenance of the bike, and you just get to use it for what you want, and you get a membership program and you pay for what you want. And it worked out pretty great because as people were so into bicycling, and they loved not having to carry their bike into their house. They loved not having to own their very own bicycle and maintain it, or feel guilty for maintaining it, or find places to store it. And they loved when a friend came to town, they could just use their membership program to go on the bike adventure. And so it was going great. The bike share was happy. People were able to ride bikes. The fossil fuel consumption of that town decreased. The congestion, traffic decreased, and people were just having fun and feeling really connected with each other because they had this beautiful membership program that they all got to be a part of. They felt really connected with more of the townspeople. And you can imagine what would have happened if Milo had come into that town and said, "Hey strangers, I'm starting a membership program." The same thing would have happened. People would have ignored them and just kept going on with their day because they don't know what this is all about. And Milo would have been way deeper into an investment because it takes a lot of energy to actually create a program like that. You need more than 100 basic bikes. You need a much larger infrastructure. And so that is the metaphor. Well, so that was a story, but it was also a metaphor, hey, of the business model. And I've been studying the business model for quite some time. I'm kind of delighted and tickled with it because I originally found out about it from in relation to an ice cream shop. And this is my riff on it through the bicycle because I think bicycling is really fun and it's a fun metaphor for learning. I'm doing a 2-day workshop coming up on this very thing. So if you liked that, or if you're watching this in between days to settle into the story, you can like this, you can check out the workshop, and send me a message. Let me know what you think. All right, take care.